On today's episode of Locked on Sharks, should the Sharks add a big piece in the trade market by going big trade hunting for some of the top names that could potentially be available?
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked on Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now, and I want to thank you for making Locked on Sharks your first listen, proudly a part of the Locked on Network, where we cover your team every day. And if you're watching on YouTube, we have brand new beautiful graphics. So really fun episode. I was super excited. I got the email with the graphics. I had to just record the episode right away because I wanted to kind of see, potentially just see what it's like. So today we're going to be talking about some trades that are no way in any shape going to happen for the Sharks because I don't think it's part of their plan, but maybe, right? Maybe if the Sharks want to really get their rebuild or kind of fast track their rebuild, these are players that I think could be pieces to the next winning Sharks team. So before we start discussing some of these guys, do want to let you know today's episode is brought to you guys by Birddogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL. And when you enter promo code LockedOnNHL, you can they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. All right, so these guys are some of the top names out that are potentially available on the market right now. So focusing on teams who are very much in question, the Winnipeg Jets, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're going to be talking about a player from the Ottawa Sens, and then of course our friends, the Desert Dogs, who are always feels like something is going on there. So going to start with one Pierre-Luc Dubois, who from the Jets, and the kind of the idea behind this, right, is the Sharks need goal scorers, and the guys I picked are all kind of goal scorers here, and what they would have to give up. You're looking at the Devils pick. You're probably looking at the second round pick. Like you're going to have to give up major assets for these players, but these are all players who could be, again, part of the next winning Sharks teams because they're all young enough and they're talented enough to where they can contribute now and help kind of get things back on track for the Sharks if Mike Grier wanted to be aggressive about it. Again, I don't think the Sharks are going to do any of these trades or be even in the name conversation of any of these trades. But again, it's Friday. It's the offseason. And it's fun to talk about trades. So we are going to start, like I said, with one Pierre-Luc Dubois. He's an RFA, so the Sharks would have to give him a new contract if they traded for his rights. 73 games last year, had 27 goals, 36 assists, 205 shots on goal, played an average 18.27 time on ice. His Corsi for was 51.97, goals for 57.65. Looking at his fancy stats, first line forward, he's only 24 or just turned 25. Like Pierre-Luc Dubois is, he will be turning 25 at the end of June. So still just entering his prime right now. 83 percentile player, 81st percentile offense, 43 percentile defensively. Does an amazing job at drawing penalties. Takes maybe a little bit more penalties than you would like, but does a great job at drawing penalties. Provides offense that the Sharks just do not have, especially after trading away Timo Meier. So why would this make sense for the Sharks? Again, Pierre, we know right now the Winnipeg Jets, it feels like it is blow it up mode for them, right? There's talk of trading Hellebuyck. Scheifele's on the table. Pierre-Luc Dubois. It feels like this core is kind of maybe run its course, and they could be looking to kind of start over and try to acquire as many assets as possible. Pierre-Luc Dubois, I know the Sharks, again, kind of in the infancy stages of the rebuild, but adding a guy like Pierre-Luc Dubois kind of gets it going a little bit more. And again, he's going to be turning 25. So I think the big question is, what type of contract would you be giving him? So Evolving Hockey, their projected contract for Pierre-Luc Dubois is a 5-year at $6.462 million. So that would basically bring him to his age 30 season. They're projected, if you want to just lock him up for 8 years, that would be an 8-year contract at $7.916 million. So expensive, but I think Pierre-Luc Dubois is a type of player that is worth that type of money. The past few seasons, so had 27 goals this year, had 28 goals last year for Winnipeg. Tough season in the 2021 year, got traded, of course, from Columbus to Winnipeg. He only had 9 goals that season. In his previous seasons with Columbus, he had 18, 27, and he had 20 goals as a rookie, as a 19-year-old rookie. Pierre-Luc Dubois, he can shoot the puck. And the Sharks, especially after Timo Meier's trade, do not have guys who can just shoot the puck like Pierre-Luc Dubois. So that contract, while it sounds a little pricey, if you move Kevin Labanc out, if you trade Kevin Labanc and get whatever you want, and basically you're upgrading Kevin Labanc for about $2 million type of situation. So especially if you can get him in that 5-year deal, your money's going to start to clear up here in a couple seasons, and Pierre-Luc Dubois could be an asset for the Sharks, especially playing with a guy like William Eklund, playing on a top line like Hurdle. With Hurdle, you feel like he could help this team this year and going forward. Or if you want to put Pierre-Luc Dubois on your first line, William Eklund's on your second line as he continues to grow. Feels like Pierre-Luc Dubois could step into the Sharks and be an asset now, not only now, but in the future, and cost way less than a guy like Timo Meier type of situation. His upside, maybe he's a 35 goal scorer eventually in his kind of career season. I don't know if he could be a 40 goal scorer like Timo Meier was this season, but again, he's going to be 25, and you would be getting him basically. If you sign him for 5 years, you'd be getting until his age 33 season when he's starting to decline, and your team's going to look way, way different by then anyway. So Pierre-Luc Dubois is kind of the first guy I would be very, very interested in. Again, if you were trying to kind of kick off this new Sharks team right away. So before we look at a cat and a dog, or a yote, desert dog, do want to take a quick break and talk to you guys about our new friends over at Birddogs. Birddogs sent me a couple pairs of shorts, and they are some of the most comfortable shorts I have ever worn. They're soft, they're stretchy, and the great thing about it is that the versatility, right? If you're like me, you're perfect weekend shorts. If you're like me, you're soccer practice in the morning, you're out there kicking the ball with your kid, you're cheering on your kid. Then you're, of course, after that, you got to run to Target, you got to run to Lowe's, you got to run to Costco, you got to run to do all that stuff. And then maybe you're grilling in the backyard, or maybe you're going out to eat with the family, or maybe you're going out to, your local brewery, all that stuff. Birddogs, they fit any style. Like, you can wear them to anything, and you're going to feel comfortable and fit in just right with them. So they're going to make it super easy for you guys right now. Go check them out. Use at birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL. Use the code LockedOnNHL, and they're going to throw in a free tumbler with every purchase. So again, check out Birddogs over at birddogs.com. Use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL and get yourself a free tumbler with your purchase. All right. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, I gotta say I like the new graphics. So they look nice. I think they look really nice. So next guy on my list. So again, these guys are gonna be expensive to acquire, but they're also very, very good. So, and that next guy is Alex DeBrincat. So Alex DeBrincat, also an RFA, played this season, was traded last offseason at the right before the draft, traded from the Chicago Blackhawks to the Ottawa Senators. This year he played 82 games, had 27 goals, 39 assists, 263 shots on goal, averaged 19 minutes on time on ice. Corsi for 50.4, goals for of 42%. And I know what you're thinking, right? Like, why? We'll get into the why it makes sense. And why would the Sens trade him? And it seems like DeBrincat maybe didn't have the best season in Ottawa and has kind of already said, I don't think I'm going to want to re-sign with you guys. So that is what kind of makes him available. If you look at his season last year, like I said, I don't think he had the best time in Ottawa. 40th percentile playing kind of first line minutes, 40th percentile, 53 percentile offense, 9 percentile defense. Did help their power play. Good job at drawing penalties. Good job at taking and not taking penalties. But like the numbers aren't really what you would expect for someone like Alex DeBrincat. If you go back a season before when he played for the Chicago Blackhawks on a very terrible team, much better numbers. 97th percentile, 92 percentile offense, 90th percentile defense. This just might be one of those things where, you know, it's really fun for us to talk about guys, you know, just adding guys and as much as you can, but he may just not be a fit there in Ottawa, especially because they kind of have a lot of mouths to feed, right? You know, you have Suchel, you have Tkachuk, you've got Josh Norris coming back healthy. Like they have a lot of mouths to feed, and maybe it just wasn't a good fit for him. So you come to San Jose, you have no mouths to feed because the Sharks, again, just lack goal scoring talent. DeBrincat, young. Just turned, so he's 25. He'll be 26 middle of the season. Previously, again, this guy has basically been an absolute goal scorer since he entered the league. As a rookie, 28 goals as a 20-year-old. Then he followed that up with 41 goals, had a little bit of a down season with 18 in 70 games. And then the bubble year had 32 goals in 52 games. Then 41 goals in 82 games, and then 27 this year with Ottawa in his season and in his new team. Alex DeBrincat, he's small. He scores a ton of goals. He already has 187 goals in 450 career NHL games. The dude just puts up points. 373 points in 450 games. Like he is a one-man wrecking crew when it comes to scoring. And right-handed shot, you put Eklund on one side, you put Hertl down the middle, you put DeBrincat on the other side, and you just go type of situation. Just go. You guys have fun. DeBrincat, though, is going to cost. You're going to have to give him a new contract, right? And he is projected to be the most expensive contract by Evolving Hockey. So if you trade for him, you can still give him an 8-year deal. 8 years at a little over $9 million. But again, he has proven it time and time and time again. As already, like I said, a multi 40 goal scorer in his career. A low year from him was 18, and that was like I said, that was the season where everything was shut down by COVID. He's a walking 30 goal scorer. He enters the Sharks and he's going to score 30 goals. Like that, you can just expect him to score 30 goals for the next 5, 6, 7, maybe the rest of his career. He is a 30 goal scorer with potential of, like, you could see DeBrincat one day be in the mix for the Rocket Richard for the most goal scorer. Like, that is what he does. And a guy like William Eklund slinging passes to Brinkett, sign me up for that. So, and next guy. So this one, not as shiny, I guess, as some of the other guys on the list, but again, I think would be a huge addition to the Sharks going forward. So that is one, Nick Schmaltz. So I'm working on this here. All right, so Nick Schmaltz has 3 years left on his contract at $5.85 million. So definitely the cheapest of the guys available. Last season for the Coyotes, played 63 games, had 22 goals, 36 assists, 132 shots on goal. So that pretty solid right there. 22 goals, 132 shots, 1943 average time on ice, 49.82 Corsi for, goals for 53.61. We know the Coyotes are a hot mess, especially with, you guys know, right? They may not. They're going to be playing in front of a college arena again. We don't know where they're going to be the next 2 years, 3 years. Like this team there's a lot going on with this team. And Schmaltz I don't think he's very happy with the current situation of the team. And I can very much understand that, right? Of just not knowing where you're going to be next year, the year after that, all that fun stuff. So offensively, he is, first line forward, 77th percentile, 81st percentile offense, 30th percentile defense. And his defense is fine, right? Again, and it's not like, not that the Sharks have a lot of room to talk, but it's not like the Coyotes are just loaded with talent right now. Him and Clayton Keller were their two best forwards for the last season. So with him, I think he is the cheapest option to try to acquire. You probably don't have to give up as much assets. Maybe it's a couple picks. Maybe it's the Coyotes first, or maybe it's the Devils first and your second round pick. And then you're adding Nick Schmaltz. He is a tiny bit older. Again, he is just turned 27. But you would have him for that through his age 30 season, and then you can kind of figure things out from there, especially as the Sharks cap is clearing up. And you hope that by then the cap has gone up a little bit. So the past couple seasons for Schmaltz has really kind of seen him. His offense has been steady. He's basically been a 60-point player. He played 63 games this year, 63 games last year. So he has dealt with a little bit of injuries. 22 goals, 36 assists this year, 23 goals, 36 assists last year so 58 and 59 points. You're basically getting a 60-point player walking in the door for the next few seasons. So if you get some more shooting talent around him, or maybe better playmakers around him, William Eklund, you could see those numbers be closer to a 30-goal type of season for him. So not as dynamic, of course, as the other guys, but I think just a bit of an underrated guy who could be an addition for the Sharks going forward for the next couple seasons. So, like I said, I think the cheapest to build option, and he's already paid for the next 3 years. And if things don't work out, or, he's not a fit, again, you can kind of trade him again, do whatever you need to do type of situation. I do believe he does have a 10-team no trade clause that kicks in at this offseason. But again, that still leaves you with 20 plus teams that you could trade to him. And we see guys will waive their no trade clause, of course, to, go to a better situation. So before we talk about one of the big guns out there, one of the core four guys who, again, we know the Leafs, is going to be a wacky offseason in Toronto, and it looks like the core four is going to be breaking up, and I want a piece of that core four. So before we talk about that, do need to take a quick break and talk to you guys about our good friends over at FanDuel. We know right now, NBA playoffs, we're getting ready to have the finals And if you want to make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs, because right now new customers get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. They have great promotions all the time. Safe and secure app. You get paid instantly, right? You don't have to wait for that. I like the player ones where it's like, points and rebounds and assists, and you have to hit a certain number. Those ones are fun because you just like rooting for like stars to do fun things, and like Djokovic, that dude can fill the stat sheet. So I would go there, or maybe once the Heat finish off, hopefully by the time you're listening to this, finish off the Celtics, you can bet on Jimmy Butler doing Jimmy Butler things. So no better place to bet on the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right. Again, we know things are going to be crazy in Toronto. It feels like the end of the core four. Auston Matthews is going to, who knows if he's going to resign. I'm not swinging for Auston Matthews because that's going to cost like everything to get Auston Matthews. I know he's born in San Jose. We know his love of Patrick Marleau. Maybe Patrick Marleau, that's his consulting job, is to try to get Auston Matthews to come. But no, that's not the one I'm going after. So I am actually going to try to acquire one William Nylander. Again, you're going to have to pay out the nose for this. So if it's multiple picks, multiple first-round picks, prospects, whatever it is, I don't know. Because maybe it's maybe it's Erik Karlsson. Maybe, who knows, right? Would be an insane, massive trade. What if it's Karlsson for Nylander? And I don't know. Who knows, right? But William Nylander has 1 year left on his $6.962 million contract. Then he would be a UFA after that. So you would basically, you could basically get him in the building, and then if you want to offer him a contract basically from the moment he gets here, you could do that, where you can kind of play out the season and go from there, type of situation. But 82 games this year, 40 goals, 47 assists, 293 shots on goal. 1833 average time on ice. Corsi for 52.54, and then goals for 59.81. The man is offense, just offense. Beautiful offense. So first line minutes, of course, 90th percentile player, 95th percentile offensively, 16th percentile defense. Who cares? Defense is for nerds. And especially with a guy like William Nylander, you want him to just score, and you score as often as you can. That is why you acquire one William Nylander. So the past couple seasons for Nylander, again, this easily was his best year. 82 games, 87 points, was over a point per game. Last year, 81 games, had 80 points with 34 goals. The bubble season had 42 points and 51. He is basically, the past couple seasons has flirted with being a point per game player, and this year he did it. He would be a massive add to the Sharks. Who knows if he'd want to come, all that fun stuff, et cetera. But if you wanted to get one of the best players in the NHL in teal, William Nylander would do that. Would be that for you, right? No idea what they'd have to give up. It would be a lot of stuff, everything type of situation. But you see, adding adding elite players is what they can do to your team. Look at the Panthers. They traded for Tkachuk. Now they're playing for the Stanley Cup. I'm not saying adding Nylander is going to make the Sharks a cup contender, but he is an elite piece. You're going to be adding an elite piece at number 4, hopefully, who's going to be playing in a couple years. if you can sign Nylander to a long-term extension, I think he's still young enough to where you're going to see the bulk amount of fun, you're going to see a bulk amount of Nylander's good year, best years while he's under contract for you still. So again, I don't expect the Sharks to be even mentioned with any of these players, but it's just fun to talk about. If I had to pick one, Alex DeBrincat, the dude just absolutely snipes, and that is something the Sharks just don't have right now. Again, it's going to cost you a lot, and you're going to have to give Dallot a massive, massive contract for him. And you're trading whatever you're trading. If you're trading Carlson, or there you go, just Carlson for DeBrincat. The trade is 1-for-1. No, that's not happening. But if you get DeBrincat, get him in the building and just let him kind of go to town. Again, he's young. He's 25. Like he's going to be a potential 50 goal scorer for you. Like, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And then if you get a Carlson or Michkov or whoever in Eklund, sign me up for that. So anyway, a lot of fun hypothetical stuff. Again, I can't stress this enough. No way. I would be shocked if the Sharks were even mentioned as a potential candidate for any of these. But hey, it's fun to dream. So be back next week. So we're going to have a couple more draft profiles for you guys. Probably not as much of a theme week. I'm definitely going to talk about if the Sharks gave up on Adin Hill too early. That's going to be Monday's episode for Memorial. We'll still have an episode out for Memorial Day. We got, like I said, more draft profiles. I'm going to be doing some goalie talk, looking at some guys in the goalies. Maybe we'll start looking at some of the potential realistic free agents. So plenty of good stuff coming up here at Locked On Sharks. So if you want to be an everydayer, just come back on Monday. New episode will be in your feed. So you can follow or subscribe wherever you get podcasts. You can watch this on YouTube. Again, nice, shiny, new teal graphics debuting right now. You follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. And until Monday, bye, friends.